Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the very medicine you have been taking for years to treat a simple allergy, a minor sleep issue, or an overactive bladder is actually the silent thief stealing your memories. You might think that memory loss is just an inevitable part of getting older, a natural decline that we all must face as we hit our 50s, 60s, and 70s. But what if I told you that for millions of people, this decline is not natural at all, but is being accelerated by a common class of drugs found in almost every medicine cabinet across the country? I am talking about anticholinergic drugs, a group of medications that are so common you might be taking one right now without even realizing the danger it poses to your brain health. In today's deep dive, we are going to uncover the disturbing link between these daily pills and a significantly increased risk of dementia. We will look at the latest clinical evidence that shows how these drugs act like a silent eraser on your cognitive function. And most importantly, I will show you exactly which medications to look out for and the safe alternatives you can discuss with your doctor today. This is not just about avoiding a side effect. It is about protecting the very essence of who you are, your memories, your personality, and your independence. By the end of this video, you will have a clear roadmap to audit your own medicine cabinet and take back control of your brain health before it is too late. I am board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine, and we are starting right now. Before we dive into the list of medications, I must state clearly that while I am a doctor, I am not your personal doctor. The information provided in this video is strictly for educational purposes, and you should never stop or change any prescribed medication without first having a detailed conversation with your healthcare provider. Now, let us talk about what exactly is happening inside your brain when you take an anticholinergic drug. To understand this, you need to know about a vital neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Think of acetylcholine as the high-speed internet of your brain. It is the chemical messenger responsible for learning, memory, and muscle contraction. Without enough of it, your brain cells cannot communicate effectively, leading to what many people describe as brain fog, confusion, or forgetfulness. Anticholinergic drugs work by blocking this messenger. They are designed to stop unwanted signals in other parts of the body, like telling your bladder to stop contracting or drying up your sinuses during an allergy attack. The problem is that these drugs are not targeted. They are like a shotgun blast instead of a sniper rifle. They enter your bloodstream, cross the blood-brain barrier, and begin shutting down the acetylcholine systems in your brain. When this happens occasionally, you might just feel a bit drowsy or have a dry mouth. But when you take these pills daily for months or years, the cumulative effect is devastating. Recent large-scale studies, including a major one published in JAMA Internal Medicine, followed thousands of seniors and found that those who used strong anticholinergic medications for 3 years or more had a nearly 50% higher risk of developing dementia compared to those who did not use them. This is a staggering statistic that should make every one of us stop and think. We are talking about common over-the-counter drugs like diphenhydramine, which you might know as, or the PM version of many pain relievers. We are talking about certain older antidepressants like amitriptyline and medications for overactive bladder like. These are not obscure drugs, they are mainstays of modern medicine. To visualize this, imagine your brain is a lush garden and acetylcholine is the water that keeps everything green and vibrant. Taking these drugs daily is like turning off the sprinkler system. At first, the leaves might just wilt a little, but eventually the plants begin to die and the garden turns into a desert. This process of cognitive decline can be subtle. It starts with forgetting where you put your keys or struggling to find the right word in a conversation. You might dismiss it as a senior moment, but underneath the surface, the chronic lack of acetylcholine is allowing the brain to atrophy. Another critical factor to consider is what we call the anticholinergic burden. This is the total effect of taking multiple medications that all have some level of anticholinergic activity. Many seniors are on 5, 10, or even 15 different medications. Even if each individual pill only has a low anticholinergic effect, when you add them all together, the total burden on the brain becomes toxic. It is like several small leaks in a boat. Eventually, the boat is going to sink. This is why it is so important to perform a regular medication audit. You need to look at everything you are taking, including supplements and over-the-counter pills. Common signs that your anticholinergic burden is too high include chronic dry mouth, blurred vision, constipation, and of course, that persistent feeling of mental slowness. If you are experiencing these, your body is waving a red flag. The biochemistry of this process is fascinating and terrifying. Acetylcholine is synthesized in the brain from choline and acetyl-CoA. It acts on two main types of receptors. And anticholinergic drugs primarily block the receptors, which are densely packed in the hippocampus, the area of the brain responsible for forming new memories. When these receptors are blocked, the brain cannot encode new information. This is why people on these drugs often feel like they are living in a fog. Furthermore, the brain tries to compensate by changing the density of these receptors, but over time, this leads to a permanent loss of synaptic plasticity. The brain literally loses its ability to change and adapt. We must also discuss the blood-brain barrier. As we age, this barrier becomes more permeable, a condition often called leaky brain. This means that drugs that might not have affected you in your 30s can easily slip into the brain in your 60s. Chronic inflammation from a poor diet or high blood sugar further weakens this barrier. When you combine a leaky brain with a high anticholinergic burden, you are creating a perfect storm for neurodegeneration. This is why the Beers criteria, a list maintained by the American Geriatrics Society, explicitly warns against the use of these drugs in older adults. Yet statistics show that nearly 1/3 of seniors are still prescribed at least one medication from this dangerous list. Let us look at the specific categories of drugs you should be aware of. First are the antihistamines like diphenhydramine and these are often found in cold and flu medications and sleep aids. If you are taking these nightly to help you drift off, you are essentially bathing your brain in a substance that blocks memory formation. Second are the tricyclic antidepressants like amitriptyline and while they can be effective for pain and sleep, their anticholinergic potency is very high. Third are the used for bladder control, such as and. These are notorious for causing confusion in elderly patients. Fourth are certain medications used for gastrointestinal issues like even some medications used for motion sickness, like scopolamine patches, carry a significant anticholinergic load. When you combine these, you create what doctors call a prescribing cascade, where you take one drug for a symptom. It causes a side effect like dry mouth or constipation. And then you take another drug to treat that side effect, further increasing your brain's burden. It is a vicious cycle that leads directly to cognitive decline. To break this cycle, you must be proactive. Ask your pharmacist to calculate your anticholinergic risk score. This is a validated tool that assigns a number to each medication you take. A score of 3 or higher is linked to an increased risk of cognitive impairment. If your score is high, it is a clear signal that changes are needed. But there is hope. The brain has a remarkable ability to recover if we catch the problem early enough and remove the offending substances. We need to move toward a model of senior wellness that prioritizes brain longevity over quick fixes for minor symptoms. For example, if you are using an anticholinergic for sleep, we need to look at why you are not sleeping. Is it a lack of magnesium? Is it poor sleep hygiene or a disrupted circadian rhythm? Instead of reaching for a pill that erases your memory, we can look at evidence-based alternatives like cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia or supplementing with glycine and magnesium, which support the nervous system without the cognitive cost. If you are dealing with allergies, newer generation antihistamines like or have much lower anticholinergic activity because they do not cross the blood-brain barrier as easily. For overactive bladder, there are newer classes of medications like beta-3 agonists that work through an entirely different pathway, sparing your brain's precious acetylcholine. The key is to be an active advocate for your own health. When your doctor prescribes a new medication, ask specifically if it has anticholinergic properties and if there is a brain-safe alternative. We often spend so much time worrying about our cholesterol or our blood pressure that we forget to protect the organ that makes life worth living. Beyond just avoiding bad drugs, we can focus on adding good things. For instance, increasing your intake of fermentable fiber can help your gut bacteria produce butyrate. Butyrate is like high-grade fuel for your brain and can help reduce the systemic inflammation that contributes to dementia. We can also look at supplements like berberine, which has been shown to support metabolic health and may have neuroprotective effects. Protecting the blood-brain barrier is also key. High blood sugar and chronic inflammation act like sandpaper on the delicate lining of your brain's blood vessels, making it easier for toxins and drugs to enter. By controlling your insulin levels and keeping your A1C in the optimal range, you are building a stronger fortress for your mind. It is also worth noting that the brain has a system, a waste clearance system that only works while you sleep. If your sleep is being induced by anticholinergic drugs, you might be unconscious, but your brain is not necessarily performing its essential cleaning duties. This leads to the buildup of amyloid plaques and tau proteins, the hallmarks of disease. True restorative sleep is a natural process that cannot be fully replicated by a pill. This is why we must prioritize natural sleep architecture. If you are struggling with cognitive decline, do not lose hope. The field of neuroplasticity shows us that the brain can create new connections at any age. By removing the chemical brakes, you give your brain the chance to rewire and heal. We also need to talk about the role of lifestyle in mitigating these risks. A diet rich in choline, which is a precursor to acetylcholine, can help support your brain's natural levels. Foods like eggs, liver, and cruciferous vegetables are excellent sources. Additionally, physical exercise, particularly the Norwegian 4x4 protocol, which involves 4 minutes of high-intensity work followed by 3 minutes of recovery, can improve blood flow to the brain and stimulate the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which helps repair and protect neurons. It is about creating an environment where your brain can thrive despite the challenges of aging. Think of your brain as a high-performance engine that requires the right fuel and the right maintenance. You would not put low-quality oil in so why would you put memory-erasing chemicals into your brain every single day? We are currently facing an epidemic of dementia, and while genetics and environment play a role, the medications we take are a factor we can actually control. It is time to have the hard conversations with our medical providers and demand better options. We need to look at the clinical data, the meta-analyses, and the real-world outcomes, and realize that the trade-off for some of these drugs is simply too high. If a pill gives you a dry nose but increases your risk by 50%, is it really worth it? The answer for most people is a resounding no. We must shift our focus from treating symptoms to optimizing biology. This means understanding the biochemistry of our own bodies and making decisions based on long-term health span rather than short-term convenience. As we age, our kidneys and liver become less efficient at clearing drugs from our system, which means the side effects of anticholinergics can become even more pronounced. What was a safe dose at age 40 might be toxic at age 70. This disconnect between scientific evidence and clinical practice is something we must bridge through education and self-advocacy. You have the power to change your trajectory. It starts with awareness, followed by an audit of your current regimen, and then a collaborative discussion with a professional to find a safer path forward. Let us commit to a future where we age with grace, clarity, and strength. Every small change you make today is a deposit into your future brain bank. Whether it is choosing a different allergy pill or adding a 10-minute walk after dinner to stabilize your blood sugar, these actions add up. Your brain is a masterpiece of biological engineering, and it deserves to be treated with the utmost care. Let us stop the silent erasure and start a new chapter of cognitive vitality. Protecting your memory is perhaps the most important investment you can make in your senior years. As we have discussed, the link between daily anticholinergic use and cognitive decline is too strong to ignore. I want you to take action today. Go to your medicine cabinet, take out every bottle, and look for the names we discussed. If you see diphenhydramine or any other drug with strong anticholinergic properties, make an appointment with your doctor this week to discuss a tapering plan or a safer alternative. Do not stop these medications cold turkey, especially antidepressants, as that can lead to withdrawal symptoms. Instead, work with a professional to transition to a brain-healthy protocol. If you found this information eye-opening, please share this video with your friends and family, especially those who are over the age of 50. So many people are suffering from brain fog and memory loss without realizing that the cause might be sitting right on their nightstand. By sharing this, you could be helping someone save their mind and their future. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Have you noticed a change in your memory after starting a new medication? Or have you successfully switched to a safer alternative? Let us build a community where we share our experiences and help each other navigate the complexities of modern medicine. If there is a specific medication or health indicator you want me to analyze in a future video, please let me know. Your health is your greatest asset, and it is my mission to help you protect it using the best evidence-based science available. Thank you for watching. Stay proactive, stay sharp, and I will see you in the next one.